So, it's time to do another video response. This one is to Mr. Russ Frequency, GRUSS Newton. He published a video yesterday on his YouTube channel asking a couple of questions actually. Your most played console and why, and of course your least played console and why as well. And I thought, as he suggested people could do, I'd do a video response to that. So, you can see in front of the camera here, we've got my SCPH 1002 PlayStation. This is my most played console out of my entire collection. This machine is my go-to machine without a shadow of a doubt because there are so many good games on the PlayStation. Just so many that I've got in my collection, and there's tons more that I don't have. I mean, for me personally, I love racers, I love action-adventure games, I love shooters. You know, mainly the racing games as you see in my collection. You know, the Destruction Derbies, Wipeouts, you know, Need for Speed games, the old Need for Speed games that I've got are amazing, Metal Gear Solid, Micro Machines V3, because it's awesome on the PlayStation, the Tekken games, so the beat-em-ups, you know, you name it, all those kind of games, Soul Blade. I really love those games, and they are my go-to sort of games, and that is my go-to system. Just a little bit of background about the PlayStation. When I first saw this, it was actually around a friend's house after school. Went to his house, his older brother had bought a PlayStation, circa 96, I think it was, and we played Micro Machines V3, which he had, that absolutely blew me away. We played FIFA 96, which again, back then blew me away, but less so when I look at it now, I wonder why. And Need for Speed, and a little bit later on as well, Need for Speed 2. And those games were brilliant. It was them that sold me on buying the Sony PlayStation. Mine actually came with Tomb Raider, as well as the Demo 1 disc that had Ridge Racer Revolution on it and Tekken 2. So I spent a lot of time playing that demo disc religiously. Got the original PlayStation controller, notice the lack of any analog sticks on it. This is the controller that came with the first model of PlayStation, up to the one that I had as well, came with that type of controller. So yeah, and I love that controller. It's a bit of an evolution of the Super Nintendo Super Famicom controller, and it's just great. It's just brilliant to play games with. Even now, I still like that controller design. So my go-to console, my most played console, Sony PlayStation. Okay, so now my least played console. It's the Nintendo GameCube. Basically this thing, yeah, I've hardly got any games for it, which probably is part of the reason why I don't play it that much. And to be quite honest with you, other than some really, really good first-party Nintendo titles like Super Mario Sunshine, you know, Mario Kart Double Dash, Zelda, I think there's the Twilight Princess, I think that came out on GameCube that was really good. There's the Resident Evil games that came out as well, like the Resident Evil Remake, Resident Evil 0, and a few others. But other than that, there's not really a huge amount of games on the GameCube that make me want to play the machine. Another thing that I really don't like about the GameCube as well as the controller, but I'll come on to that in a second. So yeah, the GameCube is one of my, in fact it's the console I just hardly ever touch at all out of all of my consoles. And that's saying something. The N64 is a close second, but I do have quite a lot of games for the N64. But yeah, the GameCube. So, a little bit of history. Circa sort of 2001, maybe even beginning of 2002, I'm trying to remember. I went round to a friend's house, he'd bought a GameCube, and the first thing that struck me when he sort of handed me the controller and said, have a go, have a play, was the controller. I really, really did not like this controller at all. It felt really, really bad in my hands, I thought. I didn't like the buttons. I mean, I was used to the PlayStation controller that you saw in the video earlier on, which was much, much nicer. I preferred the layout of the buttons and the actual shape of the controller. But this, yeah, I felt this was awful. I'm still not a huge fan of it today. I still find it a bit of a pain when I do, sort of on the rare occasion, play a GameCube game. So I don't like the controller, and I really, really don't like the design of the console either. I think the thing looks horrendous. I mean, yes, GameCube by name and a cube by nature, of course, but I really, really don't like it at all as a machine. I've got it literally because there's some games like Double Dash that I'll play, the older Resident Evil titles as well. That's the main reason I've got it. But yeah, so the GameCube is my least played console, and the reason is a lack of games. I'm not a big fan of the design of the controller and how it feels on your hands, and I'm not a big fan of the machine, to be quite honest. So guys, thanks as ever for watching, and I'll catch you again soon.